Welcome to Wawa Wire. Today we're talking about Albert Tai's clarification regarding his meeting with former Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad.
And this was the meeting that just set everything on fire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You have Albert Tai, who is the central whistleblower in this massive seabah mining permit case.
The central figure, yeah.
And he's sitting down face to face with Tun Mahathir.
Exactly. And, the moment you put those two names in the same sentence, let alone the same room, the public's mind just leaps, right? It goes straight to, this has to be political.
Oh, absolutely. The immediate assumption is this is some kind of alliance, conspiracy even.
And Tai knew that. He was clearly very aware of that perception, which is why his public statements trying to explain the whole thing are so important to look at.
That's our whole focus here, really, to just break down Tai's own
Yeah.
story. He was not subtle about why he did it.
Yeah.
He gave this very detailed, maybe a little defensive explanation for why he'd seek out such a political giant.
It gives you a pretty stark look into what high-profile whistleblowers are up against in this country.
It really does.
So to understand this, we can't start with the politics. We have to start with fear. Tai was explicit about this. He said his reason for seeing Mahathir wasn't strategic. It came from what he called long-term fear and pressure.
Just that phrase alone, long-term fear, it just sets such a dark tone.
It does.
And you have to remember the context of that fear. We're talking about a corruption case with mining permits. That means huge money, huge resources, and, incredibly powerful people involved.
For an ordinary person like Tai to stand up against that, he's basically painting a target on his own back.
A very big target.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he just ran straight to Mahathir either.
No, not at all.
Okay.
He tried to do it by the book first, right? He'd already filed 2 separate police reports about certain threats and events.
She did. But clearly those formal steps, they just didn't do enough to make him feel safe.
And that's where the story really turns. It goes from a legal process to more of a survival strategy.
It does. Tai said he was so panicked, he was asking friends and family for advice. And the advice they gave him back was, frankly, chilling.
Tell us about the specific words they used, because that's what really hits home.
The advice was that he needed to seek out a more influential figure. And the reason was to avoid the risk of disappearance or harm.
Wow.
That's not legal advice. That is life and death advice. When you, as a citizen exposing corruption, are told that the system might not be enough to stop you from literally vanishing.
It says so much about the perceived threat level.
It says everything. It suggests this feeling that, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission or the police, they can do their job, but they might not have the power to protect you from the kind of influence behind this level of corruption.
So protection has to come from political clout, not from state institutions.
That's the perception, yes.
Mhm.
You need a shield that's as powerful as the sword being pointed at you. And Mahathir, well, he still casts an incredibly long political shadow.
Just having him interested in your case raises the profile so high that it becomes politically risky for anyone to try something.
It becomes an international incident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So if we took Tai at his word, his choice was just pragmatic. It was a search for a guardian, not a political partner.
So let's talk about the actual meeting. Tai was very specific with the details, I think, to try and shut down all the gossip.
He was. He made it very clear this was the first time they had ever met. Ever. This wasn't some long-standing relationship.
And it only happened after the Sabah mining case was already public, right? After November.
The timeline is critical for his defense. If they met before, it looks like Mahathir was maybe pushing the whole thing for his own reasons. But meeting after the fact frames Tai as a victim seeking help.
A victim, not a collaborator.
Precisely.
And the length of the meeting, about 40 minutes of actual talking, maybe 45 to 50 minutes total.
Again, it's a perfect amount of time for a consultation. It's enough to explain your situation, show the police reports, outline the threats, get an opinion.
But it's hard to believe you could cook up a major political conspiracy in under an hour.
Not really, no. And then there was that other detail, the one Tai mentioned about Mahathir himself, which I found really surprising.
Oh, about his focus.
Yes. Tai made a point of saying that the former prime minister was sharp, focused, and didn't seem tired at all for the whole 45 or 50 minutes.
Why do you think he even shared that? It almost seems like a random comment on Mahathir's health.
I don't think it's random at all. I think it's a very calculated comment. It's meant to reinforce how seriously his case was taken.
Ah, okay.
See, by saying Mahathir was fully engaged, fully sharp, he's telling the public 2 things. First, that the advice he got was serious and considered. And second, he's elevating the meeting from just a photo op to a crucial consultation.
It's like he's saying, look, this political giant took my case so seriously, he gave it his complete, undivided attention.
Exactly. It adds weight. It uses Mahathir's reputation as a magnifying glass for his own case. It tells everyone, if he's taking this seriously, then you should too.
So after laying out the facts, Tai had to go into full damage control on the political rumor.
He did. His message was simple. There's no private relationship. There is no political conspiracy.
But that's a tough thing to sell, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
any interaction with Mahathir immediately becomes political, whether you want it to or not.
It's almost impossible to avoid. He's just that kind of figure.
Tai seemed to know that, though.
Uh.
He was very open about his real goal, saying he went public with the meeting just to get social attention on the case.
He wanted to make it too big to bury, not to get some kind of political favor.
But then he said something truly unusual. That very candid thing about social media rumors?
Oh, the admission about his fantasy.
Yes, he confessed that, yeah, in the past he had fantasized about being close to a wealthy big shot like Mahathir. Why would you ever admit that in a public statement?
It's brilliant, actually. It's a brilliant tactic.
How?
Because it humanizes him completely. The rumors are probably already flying that he's just some social climber. By admitting, yeah, I've daydreamed about that. Who hasn't? But that's not what this is. He sort of pulls the rug out from under his critics.
So he's saying, yes, I'm a normal person, I've had that thought, but this meeting was about survival, not fantasy.
Exactly. He's trying to appeal to the public, saying, look, I'm just an ordinary guy in a terrible situation. Please don't overinterpret this. Please don't politicize it. Focus on the real issue.
So when you put it all together, the picture you get is of a whistleblower who's just trapped. He tried the official channels, the police reports, and still felt terrified.
And so he made a drastic move, a very public move to try and get some protection through, well, political proximity.
It all comes back to that core problem, doesn't it? The weakness, or at least the perceived weakness, of our institutions.
It has to. Why does anyone feel they need to go to a former prime minister for protection? It suggests that the official safeguards, like the whistleblower protection from the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, are just not seen as enough.
Not when you're up against such powerful interests.
That lack of confidence is a huge problem. If the people exposing corruption think their only real lifeline is a private meeting with a political heavyweight, what does that say about our system of governance?
It says there's a crisis of confidence.
There is. For whistleblowing to be effective, the protection has to be guaranteed by the state. It has to be reliable. It can't depend on who you know.
Tai's actions really shine a spotlight on that gap between the protection that's written in law and the danger people feel in reality.
And it leaves us with this final question for you to think about. Considering the very real fears that Albert Tai expressed, was going into Mahathir a necessary evil, a required safety measure?
Or does meeting with such a polarizing figure, no matter how pure his intentions were, just end up contaminating the whole case with politics anyway?
The speculation is the price you pay for that kind of protection. The shadow of politics is always there.
It's been fascinating to break down the complexities behind this one very talked about meeting.
It gives us a lot to think about, especially about who really protects the people who try to protect the public interest.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.